Namaskar, viewers. Welcome to the first episode of Infinite Possibilities. My name is Pradeep Gupta, and I'm your host for this show. Joining me is my partner, my best friend, and my wife, Poonam Gupta.
Thank you, Pradeep. Namaste, viewers. We had been thinking about doing something like this for quite some time, and I'm absolutely delighted to be here with you for this show. Pradeep, since this is our first episode, why don't you tell our viewers what this show is all about?
Wonderful idea, Poonam. So, as part of our growing up, we all develop some conditioning, some beliefs. This show is about looking inward at our lives, discover what's missing, and maybe create some beautiful new beginnings. At times, one might feel that one's beliefs and choices are being challenged, but that is not the objective of this show. It is not about confronting or challenging any norms or beliefs, but it's about offering another possible perspective. So I would request our viewers to please listen with an open mind, and you will definitely notice new possibilities being created.
Aha! Now I know where the name Infinite Possibilities came from. I am so curious to know how we are going to create all these possibilities on this show. One thing I've realized these days that everything is just a reflection of me. If I'm unhappy with something, I want to change something in the external world, all I have to do is change something in my internal world, and things around me start to change automatically. And I think the self inquiry is the best way to do it.
Correct. And Poonam, it's our distinct honor to have someone who has devoted his entire life towards finding the answer to your question. Friends, it gives me great pleasure to introduce our special guest, Victor Manikam, who is the founder of the Victor Manikam Knowledge Group and has mentored and trained hundreds of clients and thousands of students and participants to help them advance in their lives. An engineer and an MBA by background, he has written many research papers in India and abroad. A man who started with nothing, built it all, only to lose it all, and then built it all up again from scratch.
He has also published a book called Handbook for Life, which is an absolute wealth of knowledge. A man who understood the unique human design, who quit his job as dean of a university to pursue the purpose of his life, which is to empower others to find hope and possibilities in their lives, to create a future of their choice, and to live a life of fulfillment.
And we are really privileged to have him here on the show with us. Victor, welcome to Infinite Possibilities. We are extremely delighted to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me here, Pradeep and Poonam. Um, I'm just a little overwhelmed to be on your show. Thank you so much that this is something that you're looking at addressing through your show and feel so happy to be with you.
Thank you, Victor. So, Poonam, let me start today's show with a question for you. What do you think is one thing that people value the most, and yet most of the times they struggle with it?
Uh, I'm going to guess that it's maintaining great relationship with family because this is what I struggle the most with, and I hear about that from a lot of people around me, my friends, colleagues, everywhere. People seem to be struggling with this one thing the most.
Yep, you're absolutely correct. See, having great relationships with family is something that majority of the people value the most. And it's really unfortunate that most people struggle with their relationships at home, which they consider the most important part of their life, whether it's a relationship with their spouse or their kids, their parents or their siblings. So what I want to do is hear from Victor about his views on why this happens and what we could do to improve our relationships at home. Victor, please share with us your wisdom on relationships.
I will look at this. This is like an eternal question which stays beyond caste, creed, religion, geography. This question is almost an universal question. So thank you for raising that up. And I will. There are two questions that you asked: why it is, what it is, and second is what is possible. That's a two questions. So what I will say is the fundamental way relationships exist is in a certain default framework. You might ask me, what is a default framework? Something which you and I don't even know, we are not even aware of, but it already exists and we become part of it. That's like some system that is there, unsaid, unwritten, unknown, but all pervasive system. So the thing is, relationships, whether in family or anywhere, the default framework is assumptions and expectations. Now you might ask me when I say assumptions and expectations, what do you mean by that? Relationships will be there. I'm not saying it should not be there. What I'm saying is it exists and we are unaware that that is what is driving our relationships. And it impacts in the family more. It impacts the family to an extent where we don't even know if there is something possible beyond this. So, in this framework of assumptions and expectations, Poonam and Pradeep, would you like me to present a matrix or, I did something and we were able to get a matrix. So, do you
Yeah,
think we could
absolutely.
discuss the matrix?
Please do.
We would love to see the matrix, Victor, and learn what is the default that you're talking about.
Yeah, this is the first time we have heard this term default framework. So please enlighten us a little more.
Oh, yeah. So let me just put it for just an imagination. I know we've been in school and all, and you must have done some graphs. So just imagine this, that on the x-axis, you exist. We draw a line on the x-axis of assumptions and expectations. And on the y-axis, we again draw the line of the family. Now, what happens is, consider this conversation about you. And when you are there, you and I have assumptions. We have assumptions about ourselves. We have assumptions about the family. And at the same time, the family also has assumptions about us. So I assume that my parents will love me only if I do well in school. And if I don't do well in school, they don't love me. So I want to do well in school, which may really not be the case. They would love me anyway, but they are concerned for me. But I assume that. Now the parents are also assuming that only if they are strict and demanding will they be good parents, and which is not how the child thinks. But in such a scenario where such assumptions exist, what happens is there is either some kind of an obedience between the child and the parent, or the family members, or between the husband and the wife, or there is a certain confusion to which there is a superficial adherence. There's a confusion internal, chaos internal, but you're trying to bring some adherence, some kind of things, and says, okay, let's avoid this, this is good, that is good. But there's a lot of assumption. And consider this happens in a family where people come from diverse thoughts, backgrounds, and it's happening over years. Can you imagine the impact?
Yeah.
And along with these assumptions, now the family has an expectation from somebody. The wife has an expectation from the husband. The father has an expectation from the child. The child has an expectation from the mother. There's an expectation of the child from the brother or the sister and the brother. So each of them have expectations. Now, this one of us, like just taking it, you have an assumption and they have expectations. First, we looked at they have assumptions and they have expectations. Now, when you are able to fulfill expectations, things go fine. But when expectations are not fulfilled, and there's a burden of expectations, and then you are assuming that if these expectations fail, what do I do? There is pressure mounting. Some students in campuses and all, they live under so much pressure of performance that we also hear of people committing suicides. Children committing suicides just because they could not handle the pressure of academics. I mean, you and I know that academics helped us only to a certain level, but it was all about our experiences, our resilience to be with life, learn, openness. Those were the things actually. How many of us today even remember much of our academics to manage life? It becomes a small tool, but so much pressure. And why would that be? Uh, because there is a conversation of sacrifice and rebellion within the family. A conversation of sacrifice and rebellion where somebody talks about sacrifice, the other person is burdened, cannot fulfill expectations. So either they are rebelling or they are sacrificing. And now this whole, just imagine you started off with confusion, chaos, and obedience. So there's sometimes confusion, chaos, obedience. Now add to that you have rebellion and sacrifice operating alternately. You have this also operating, and still after some time, we go on to another thing that happens, which is we get into conflicts. Now, this is happening. Now there are conflicts because others' assumptions in the family and my expectations don't seem to match. And we're trying to get my point of view, that one is getting their point of view. All this is happening, and they say, okay, let's avoid conflict, let's come to some consensus. How many of us have noticed in a family when there is a conflict, we say, okay, let's avoid a conflict, let's get some consensus,
Right.
let's get to consensus.
Mhm.
So consider that the default conversations in a house are giving you, because of the framework assumptions and expectations, are giving you something called as either we are living in obedience in one way, or we're living in some confusion and chaos, or we are talking about rebellion and sacrificing the underlying tones of the conversation, or we are talking of avoiding conflicts and bringing consensus. Now, this is what is happening most of the time. And just in some cases, there are moments of celebration where we talk of success and achievements or some sense of relief that now we are not addressing a problem. Today, there was no conflict. Everybody had an agreement. Wow, there was no conflict. Those moments of relief. Now, this is the kind of conversations that exist in a typical family, in a typical home. You know, and in this what to say body of conversations, we are trying to get some moments of happiness through success, achievements, or just by the relief that nothing untoward happened today at home. Everything went smoothly, and we are so relieved about that. So this is kind of how, and it is important for us to not say this is right or wrong, but just being human. This is so default about the way we exist. And just acknowledging this allows to make something possible. The idea is not that, oh, this is wrong, let's not do this. But the idea is this exists. And let's acknowledge that this exists in every house. Don't beat yourself up or don't question it or say, no, no, okay. So some of us in the home might say, this doesn't exist all the time. It exists most of the time. Okay, most of the time exists. It is not necessary that it should be there. It exists as a default, but the point is, it is not necessary that this is the only way to be. While this is a default way, it's not the only way to be. There's something else also possible, and that's what I thought will answer your first question.
Wow, Victor, that was really something. I am pretty sure most of us have been doing what you explained, that default framework of assumptions and expectations, and how it can lead to all kinds of conflicts and disappointments. I think a picture is worth a thousand words. So I have this picture that you had shared with me. Let me share that picture with our viewers, and then if you could just take it one step at a time and just go over what you just said, that will be really great, because I think it will help everybody understand what you were just trying to explain. So here is the picture, Victor, and here are your four quadrants: assumptions, expectations of you, and assumptions and expectations of the family. So could you please elaborate this once again for our viewers?
Hey, Pradeep, I just want to thank you for bringing this quadrant. I acknowledge you for taking the effort to bring up this quadrant that makes the explanation so vivid and visual, Pradeep. Yeah. So when we are in a world of assumptions, that is, there is assumptions between me and the members of the family, or between the family members and me, there's an assumption that I'm like this obedient guy. who will do everything that happens in the house and adhere to the norms of the house, religious, academically good, and all that. But deep down, I have a confusion because when I do all this at home, I want to actually be a little wild guy. I want to date a girl, or I want to try smoking, or I even want to try a drink, but that's all so much. So I'm faking obedience, and they are believing that I'm such a nice kid. There's another pattern of, and I'm assuming that if they know this about myself, uh, they are going to be disappointed with me. And probably they are also assuming this boy is so innocent, he is so, what to say, is such a simpleton. How is he going to manage things in life? Now, while we begin this is an assumption, to a large part over some months, years, and over time, it has become a reality that they think I'm this and I think they are this. And that's happening, imagine, with each member of the family. There is one confusion happening somewhere, and then to avoid that confusion, it is being layered with obedience. And that's happening. And then while all this assumption is happening, inside this assumption, there's an expectation. And there's an expectation that uh, the other person will do this, or something like that. And now, since I have not told them the truth, I have not been authentic and genuine and had assumptions, I am now trapped into either having to sacrifice something to fulfill their expectations, or I'm going to rebel and say, you guys don't understand me. You always want what you want. You never ask me what I want. And this is not fair. I've spent my entire life just living yours. Like, when will I get to live my dreams? And the parents are going to say, or the other member, this happens in a husband-wife relationship also, or it happens in an elder brother, younger brother relationship also. I have done everything to make you happy, but now you don't seem to value it, and you don't value my sacrifices. And then the other person is going to say, okay, fine, if you think I've not been valuing your sacrifices, okay, fine, then let's not get this happening together. You go your way, I'll go my way. I think we need to go our ways. Now, this is the kind of, or someone will say, okay, fine, you don't understand, I'll understand. I'll take the brunt of the relationship. Now, this kind of does. Now, there is one thing of I'm handling the family expectations. Now, consider a scenario where I'm having expectations and the family has assumptions. So I'm having expectations, the family can, this is so simple, this is what they should do. What is wrong? I mean, I'm not asking much. I'm just asking for a little. That is just stretching our budget a little for some particular expense, or allowing an extra 2 days on a vacation. I mean, but their assumption is this guy is now going out of control. Or my brother is thinking that, oh, now he's taking advantage of a little freedom that he's got. He is now emotionally blackmailing me in a particular situation. Now, he's assuming this, but I have an expectation which is so simple. Then what? How will I end? Now, this is causing dissonance. So I'm going to come and say, okay, we agree to disagree. Suddenly we'll come to an agree to disagree, and that conflict kind of is there, but you live with the conflict and say, okay, there's no point of discussing with you. It's always like this. It always ends in a conflict. There's just no hope. Whatever you try, it always ends in a conflict. Or we say, okay, fine, okay. I think this is going too much. I don't want a conflict. Let's agree. Okay, this is fine. This much is fine. This much is fine. Okay, fine. And both are going a little disturbed about saying, when can I really express myself? When can I really express myself? How long can I live in this trap? Now, when we say we all, I'm not saying that this is such an unhappy scenario in the family. I'm saying it's just a defaulting. We are not even aware that most of the time that we are in this way of communication, we are in this world of conversations. But there are those moments where some expectations match, there is that moment where you feel so successful. You feel as if you actually feel this is a family achievement, and there's sometimes just a sense of relief that today nobody had a conflict. We didn't have to bring about a consensus. It was so plain, it was simple. And then you kind of feel so happy, the entire family sitting together and saying, okay, today we had a nice day. Today we didn't have to argue over which session, which channel should happen, or which time we should watch the channel, should the dinner happen. There was no chaos and confusion or just some other and some opinions that did not exist. And so I am saying all this, Pradeep, I'm also trying to bring a perspective that this is a body of conversations. As I said before the framework, this is not wrong. Uh, this is what we are unconsciously doing, and we are not
Exactly.
even aware. Often we define this as reality when we just said everything that is real. If we can just for a moment step back and say it is just our assumptions and expectations. Maybe we do not know what is real. We do not know what is possible beyond this. Can I just step back and say, if this is the default, then what is possible? What can be the created? Just that inquiry can begin to alter something in the relationship. Pradeep. I don't know if I'm answering your question,
No,
but
you
this
are
is my
actually,
experience.
you actually did, and very beautifully indeed, Victor, because once we had this picture in front, it became much clearer what you were talking about. These four quadrants, this is such a profound thing. And it's, I'm going to just leave it here on the screen for another second. Uh, the interesting thing is the default framework that you mentioned, almost all of us live in that default framework without realizing it. That is just our conditioning. We just live in this world of assumptions and expectations. And it is so obvious now that you mention it, what we have all been doing and where we always struggle because of the assumptions and expectations. But none of us actually take a pause to reflect on these assumptions and expectations. So thank you for bringing it to our awareness. I'm going to stop sharing now. Really, it's so interesting that once we think about what other possibilities are available, coming out of this assumptions and expectations framework, it's just mind boggling. And I think it's a lot to take in. Poonam, what do you think?
I am awed, Pradeep. I realize that I have been living whole my life making assumptions, having expectations, having these conflicts, disappointments, what not. Remember, we had huge conflict over household work, and I wanted you to do the dishes, and you were busy with your office work. I assumed that you do not want to help me. And during those COVID times, we were all stuck in the house. So much work happened,
Mm-hmm.
and I kept on assuming and expecting. And then one day we had this huge conflict, and I was telling you, you're not helping me. I am sacrificing for the house, for the family. Nobody understands me. And now it's like Victor was explaining it, and I was saying, he's talking about me. He's
I
only
think a
talking
lot of
about
our
me
viewers
because
are
this is
also, I'm sure a lot of our viewers are going to
yeah,
think
and
the
I think
same.
everybody's, yeah, I think many of us are thinking that, yes, this is what has happened with us, even with our children. I remember our daughter always thinking that she has to get 100% in every subject, otherwise, we will be disappointed. We will not love her. And how much pressure she had put on herself. And it's such a beautiful way to explain how the default framework is, how without being aware of it, we keep living like this. I cannot wait to hear how can we move out of this default framework.
But
I'm
before
very
we do
curious,
that though,
even more curious.
before we do that, I think we need to make sure that everybody understands the default framework. It was a lot to take in. So
Hmm.
my feeling is we should leave our viewers with this for now and let them absorb it and reflect on this for a week, and then we will come back next week. What do you think?
Yes, absolutely. I think think about what you're feeling, and any confusions, any questions, any mixed emotions, do share with us. Write to us at the email ID below, and write your comments, feedbacks, experiences, questions after listening to this conversation, and we will bring your questions to Victor next week. So stay tuned with us. We
And
look
thank
forward
you.
to hearing from you.
Thank you, Poonam, and thank you, Victor, for being here with us and giving us so much food for thought. We really look forward to having you again with us to listen to what possibilities could be created. And I want to thank our viewers for watching. We'll be back next week. Till then, have a wonderful week, everybody. Namaste.
Thank you so
Namaste.
much.
Thank you.